got some of my banana pudding in it.
Piece of cookies is floating.
I did not eat cookies.
Alright, we're gonna just too loud in here. I can't tell what you hear. It's okay. Good. Louder.
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 There you go.
You good? Faster. Good. Slower. Slower. Do I have longer than 3 minutes is the question. More than 3 minutes because I can get a lot in 3 minutes. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and get started. I know you're still eating. You know, folks, towards the back is fine. Go ahead and eat, drink, dessert, whatever's left. Go for it. We want to go ahead and move it along so we're not here too long tonight. Somebody was saying the award ceremony today obviously was pretty long. This is why we don't do hours here at the award ceremony because we'd be there for that much longer. I always start a little bit with just some thoughts and reflections on the year. If you look in the little, we made nice little programs for everybody. It says the true meaning of success. I kind of struggled a little bit to figure out what to talk about when I got up here because although I like to talk a lot, I don't usually stand up in front of crowds and really formally speak a lot. But we were talking about someone earlier. The marching season had a really good year. Concert festival went well. Orlando went well. Everything's been a really good year all around. And they were talking about just the general successful program this year. Now they thought it had been pretty well. And I was like, that's an interesting thing. I think I'll just run with that theme. It's like success can be interpreted a lot of different ways. And just kind of my take, but. Band program, somebody told me one time, it's kind of much like moving a piano up a staircase. I think I said something about that last year. It's this big, ungainly, heavy object, and you have to push and struggle, and, thunk, it goes up one more notch. And you gotta take a break. You work, and you push and struggle, and thunk, it goes away. It's not a fast process. It doesn't leap to the top. It's a slowly building process, and I think we're going thunk one more staircase, or one more stair step this year. Compared to years past, those that have been here more than a year or two, 2 years ago there was only one band on stage inside. Last year was the first year we actually had two separate. We had a concert band and whatnot, so it's a good thing. This year we still did. Both groups were also slightly larger this year, so we've still got two groups going. Both groups are getting bigger and better. And when we even combined them with the pre-festival concert there at West-Rowan, and I think a lot of people went, holy crap, that's a lot of people on stage. And it was a lot of fun. Locomotive Chase, I believe, was a crowd favorite of the night. We had a lot of participants in all county and all district. The percussion ensemble traveled again to Reedsville. They always have a blast doing that. Excuse me. Marching band, we kind of brought the marching band. As Dr. Bridge said, the marching band hardware back there in the background. Obviously had a very good season. The pinnacle trophies on either side. There's two grand champion trophies back there and a Esprit de Corps trophy back there from Mount Pleasant. A lot of good stuff happened this year. It was a good season. Had 3 parades. Students that are here playing everything from community bands, swing bands, churches, weddings, concerts that the community puts on. These guys are everywhere. They play. They use their talents, and it's a good thing to see these guys out there playing. The boosters are successful. I think one of the most obvious things the boosters are really kicking is I didn't really have to do a lot for this banquet tonight. I did this, and that was really about it. And that was not always the case. So there was a couple years ago where I think I was doing all of it and almost fell over. But the boosters are really kicking. There's tax exempt status, which I believe has gone through. I think so. That's a big hurdle that we cleared. Everything just seems like it's really going well, and it's really easy for us to look at that and go, "Wow, we are such a successful organization," and we are, and everybody's doing a good job. It should be our goal to keep always trying to do the best we can. But you always have to keep in mind, keep in focus, what's the true meaning of success? What are we really doing and accomplishing? And I found I'm a huge person. I love literature and quotes and sayings. And I found a couple of my deep box of stuff that kind of conveys my thoughts on success. It says, keep steadily before you the fact that all true success depends at last upon yourself. You can't expect it to come from other people. You can't expect it to be, poof, there it goes. It all depends on what you and yourself are willing to do and how hard you want to work. Success is the sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out. Rarely is it something astronomical that just goes, shalom, and we are successful. It doesn't work that way. It's these small things. We try as hard as we can every day, all the time, and it slowly gets there. It's nothing that's uncommon and out of the ordinary. It's just that every day you're nice to the people around you. You try as hard as you can. I'm not the best at what I do, but I will do it to the best of my ability. Those things make you successful. And this is one of the ones I like to do. The greatest results in life are usually attained by simple means and the exercise of ordinary qualities. These may, for the most part, be summed in these two: common sense and perseverance. Do what makes sense. Do what's logical. It doesn't have to be elaborate and this thought out scheme. It can just be, we need to do this, and let's do it. And that could be all it takes. And a lot of what we've done so far this year is logical, common sense, try hard, keep pushing, and it works. It doesn't have to be this massive, elaborate machine of a process. And that kind of brings me back to square one. What is success? And basically, my own little personal definition is kind of what I try to do. And maybe it's my part of wisdom for seniors and things to kind of close the year out with, and little tidbits of wisdom. But basically, we should do the best we can with the talents we've been given and try to each day be better people than we were the day before. If you can do that, I think then that's a success. Either you as a person, or a program as a whole, or whatever we're shooting for. Be a little better than you were yesterday. Try as hard as you can. Don't try to be someone you're not. This is West-Rowan. We're Mount Ulla. We are not a massive 5,000 member school that can have this band of 800. That's not us. We should not try to be that. We should be a very good first-rate version of us, and not a second-rate version of somebody else. And that's what makes us successful. It's easy to get sidetracked and go, oh, we're great, we're fantastic. It's the table of trophies back there, the concert festival ratings. Those are all one person's opinion on one given day. And you should never really, truly measure yourself by a table full of plastic and wood. They're pretty, they're good. It's a really good thing to look at that and have a measure of success and justify all that we worked for that was really good. But realize that when it's all said and done, at the end of the day, the plastic and wood doesn't matter. It's, are you better than you were today than you were yesterday? So I hope that take a little bit out with you. If you don't agree and you don't like it, don't take it with you. But it's just what I think. We're going to keep going. I started a couple minutes late. I want to make sure everybody can kind of get a chance to get the food down, at least get down to the dessert menu. But obviously, one of the big things we do is hand out all the honors and awards that have kind of piled up over the season and the concert season and the marching season. And we're just going to go in kind of chronological order of what happens first. And as I'm all too frequently reminded, Marching Band happens first because it starts for me in January. So we've already been doing Marching Band, and realize after graduation there's about 2 weeks off. And then we start. So that comes first. So we're going to go ahead and flip to Marching Band. And I apologize for looking more at my sheet than I'm looking at you because there's a lot of stuff that I'm going to have to read off. If you have not marched before, or if this is your first child that's in band, basically you see the letters for the football team, baseball, basketball, volleyball, softball, whatever. Everybody letters for their letter jacket. You letter in band. It's as much a sport as anything else, more so than others, I think. That's a whole different can of worms, another topic. I'm not going there. But it's incredibly hard. These guys do a whole lot of stuff. And it's the biggest team sport out there. There's not a single other sport anywhere where all this many of us go somewhere and have to do exactly the same thing at exactly the same time, and are ranked and compared to everybody else that's doing exactly the same thing at exactly the same time. You can coordinate plays and train to hit that thing, whatever form of ball you're hitting, kicking, whatever. Everybody has to do the exact same thing, exact same time. That's a completely different level. That's like saying everyone has to take the algebra EOC and if all answer number one correctly at the exact same time. We would not pass. It would not happen. But that's what we're asking our kids to do, and they do it really, really well. So they obviously lettered for this. And what we're going to do, we're going to call you up. And as you come up here, we're going to hand you your letter. If, I know there's a handful of us, if you have already lettered at something, you have a letter, we will give you the band tag or patch or whatever you call it that goes on the letter. So you can just swap it for that, it's not a big deal. So if you've already lettered in soccer, I'm not sure, you can just get this instead of the whole letter because you don't want to have 3 or 4 WRs stuck all over your letter jacket. And you can just put band there and you can add things to your letter jacket as you go. But if you'll come up and you'll grab your letter, you can just line up. We'll start from your left over here, I'm backwards, sorry, and just kind of grace the front of the stage here with your presence. Before we go into this too, I also want to make sure that we understand, in order to letter for marching band, it's a stringent thing. Everybody signs a contract at the beginning. You can only have so many tardies. You can only have so many, you cannot miss contest football games unless there is something that, I have a letter from somebody now that says an absence they will have in October, I believe, of the fall. It's got to be something that is very, well ahead of time, worked out, something such. But everybody also had a chance at the end of the year to come back and review their attendance records and say, did I letter, did not letter? If they didn't come, then they kind of forfeit the opportunity to look for that too, and you get what you get if you don't. But pretty much for the extent of the band, just about everybody letters, with the exception of a handful. So, that being said, we're going to go ahead and go through our first year marchers. Not necessarily freshmen, but people that have marched for the first time. We'll call everybody's name, whether or not they're here. If you're here, come on up, grab your letter. We're going to line up across the stage, and we will go from there. Drop the spoon. Okay. Tyler Klutz. And Hannah Klutz. Kennedy Pike. Gabby Rowland. Caroline Wood. Kara Riddle. Andrea Spate. Mandy Strickland. Andrew Lake. Kara Cuthbertson. Zach Hunter. Chelsea Hunter. No relation. I see the family resemblance. John Law. Darian Petit. Nick Watson. Aaron Craig. Ryan Rowe. James Davis. Trey Harden. Taylor Love. Sarah Sue. Tanner Watts. And these are everyone that successfully completed their requirements for lettering in marching band. And I have been known to swap people as first year and second year, so I hope I haven't done that. If I have, please correct me. Let's give all these guys one more hand. Every year, after your first year, you get it's called a chevron, like a gas station. Which came from Some people always ask me, what's a chevron? It's this thing. Basically, every year after that, you get your chevron at your sleeve. Again, we'll go from there. These are all the upperclassmen, veteran marching band members, we call them. And again, same thing, you'll come up, grab your chevron, and we'll go from there. You grace the stage with your presence and line up across so everybody can see your nice pretty faces. And off we go. Denise Lincoln. Colin Townsend. Sonia Beaver. Lindsay Show. Ashton Furman. Amber Gilmore. Kiera Perry. Stacy Price. Nikki Burett. Diana Roberts. Brianna Weaver.
She's asleep. She's got a migraine. I'm sorry.
You want to come up and get it for us?
She's taking a nap.
Susan Weaver. Yeah, Susan Leonard.
Congratulations.
H.A. Hoffman. Dante. Joe Woodruff. William Peters. Melissa Day. Daniel Bush. Jordan Morris. Billy Parrish. Zach Truman. Christian Ball. Ashley A. Strunk. Steve Compton. James Rubenberg. Caitlin Swear. James Goodnight. Thomas Langford. Jacob Beck. Chris Brock. Jerry Goodnight. Alex Day. And Bryce Boyd. That's a lot of numbers. And I believe this is it. Thank you so much.
Well, one thing that we haven't done in years past, and we're probably not ever going to do again, is we have a little trophy here for probably one of the most dedicated band members I've ever known. Because he comes to every rehearsal, most of the time, and he marches in every parade, and he's always there to, make me happy. And he's probably one of the best marchers, and he blows that little spirit horn like nobody's business. So we wanted to sort of commemorate his excellence in the marching band, and we wanted to give this little trophy to my little brother John, who was the marching band.
moving on to the realm of marching band, because it does consume a large part of the fall, especially into December. It would be physically impossible for this to happen, or run, or operate, or exist without the help of the students themselves. I'm one person. I'm the only one the school system hires. Miss Williams here comes and helps us. Michelle comes and helps us. Katie and Pastor come and help us. But every day at school, there's only one of me there until they can all get there to help us. The student staff makes it all function. I realized they checked out the uniforms. They cleaned. I think they were cleaning one of the rooms today. Like the dates on my watch. It's May, and they were cleaning the storage room. That was yesterday. I'm sorry. It was still May. But it would be physically impossible for it to happen without their help. That hierarchy of leadership, it's just been a fantastic leadership team. We'll have a meeting for every practice. It's all 5 minutes long. Wham! Here's the plan for today. Make sure you do this, 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 and then I cannot physically be everywhere. These guys get it done, and they do it efficiently, and they do it well, as evidenced by their spoils there on the back table. So we want to make sure we recognize these guys also. Every year, they get an emblem to designate that they were student leaders in the marching band. Their first year, they get a leadership star. In the second year plus, if they're lucky enough to do it more than once, then they get it's a small bar that goes beside the star. That's kind of like getting a chevron for your letter. And so the folks that have been a leader more than once, and regardless of whether it's the same position or not, they get a bar, and first-time leaders get a star. So I'm going to kind of go through the students and what their job titles were and what they're being awarded. We're just going to kind of go from I just kind of went in score orders where I started, and then it kind of mixed up. So I'm not real sure what order we're going in, but we're going to go with it. Janice Lingle was drum major, Little Wing captain. He's a leadership bar, second year service. Colin Townsend, who's a leadership star, first year service. Lindsay Shook gets a star, first year service. Caitlin Swear gets a star, first year service. Jacob Beck gets a star for his first year of service. James Goodnight gets a star, first year of service. Alex Day gets a star for his tuba section leader. Chris is determined to be taller than Alex. The hair's got you if you had hair.
Victoria?
Jordan Morris, percussion captain for the front ensemble. Melissa Day, percussion captain for the battery, is a bar. Amber Gilmore and Diana Roberts for the color guard captains. They both get stars. I don't believe either one together. I short a bar. I'll get you a bar. It's back. Oh, and who did I miss? I missed Thomas. I missed Thomas. I'm sorry. Brad's Captain Thomas. And I'll get you a bar. I have a box. I just didn't want to put them out. I'm sorry. I missed anyone else today. Thank y'all. The season would not have happened without that. Once the school year starts, obviously band class is more geared towards concert band. Some folks do them one semester. Most people do them twice, fall and spring. So we've got your certificates for that. Christian Walters. This is for the fall semester. Christian Walters. Jamie Spurley. Chris Smith. John Laws. Zach Hunter. Chelsea Hunter. Very hesitant to be there, I apologize. Melissa Day. Malachi Cooper. William Camps. Joel Britton. Allison Bailey. John Tang. Brittany Yates. Zach Wilson. Zach Truby. Colin Townsend. Jessica Snyder. Lindsay Sharp. Shannon Rowe. Lee Beth Lively. Caitlin Lamagood. Janice Lingle. Thomas Langford. A.J. Hoffman. Brandon Harris. Jerry Goodnight. James Goodnight. Alex Day. Aaron Crater. Rodney Klein. Chris Brock. Ashley Astra. And we're gonna clear the stage here, so we're running out of room. This is percussion and wind ensemble, so you guys are gonna have to grab a seat so we can make room for the next group. This is Caroline Wood. Bryce Wilhite. Tanner Watts. Nick Watson. Sarah Snoop. Gabby Rowland. Jesse Redmond. Darian Boutique. Angela Bookington. Kennedy Pyatt. Sonia Peoples. Victoria O'Neill. Taylor Love. Sarah Loney. She's dancing. Andrew Langford. Tyler Phillips. Nakia James. Trey Harden. Ryan Groban. Jake Gibbons. Aaron Ernsberger. Katie Coyer. Hannah Klotz. Aaron Casper, we have one. Catherine Carter. Chelsea Bragg. Cole Wharton. Kevin Bishop. Casey Birchfield. And that is our concert.